Alright, in this video I do want to take a couple minutes to talk about the Masterpiece Arms Matrix chassis. So one of the more popular tactical chassis that we offer, besides the MDT ACC chassis, is the Masterpiece Arm Series chassis. The one thing about the Matrix that I want to take a few minutes and talk about with this one, and this one here we've had at our shooting school for going on 2 years now since they first come out with it, is I really like the Matrix chassis. Now the Masterpiece Arms, they make the Matrix, and then they make the Competition Series, which we'll be doing a review on later this summer. But the Matrix is sort of their flagship, and there's a couple of things that I really like about it as far as their shootability, and we actually build a lot of custom rifles on this particular chassis. So I just want to take a few minutes to go over some of the details on it and why you might want to consider it for your Competition Series rifle. So right out of the gate, one of the things about it is they do offer some unique features that allow you to lock the action in properly, or pin the recoil lug back into the chassis so you have zero movement. And there's a little set screw right here that has a detent ball on the other side that pulls down. It forces the actual integral recoil lug against the back into the chassis itself, keeping zero movement. Now we have customers and competitive shooters that have bedded this rifle. So one of the things you can do with the chassis, of course, if you're really seeking that ultra accuracy, is you can bed the action into the chassis itself, which makes for a fantastic footprint. So we have bed a lot of the different chassis, including the Matrix and the Competition Series and the ACCs, but we'll bed up here and we'll bed back at the tank just to give it that really solid lockup and an inert material underneath and between the actual chassis itself and the bottom of the receiver. Another thing that they really offer here that's nice, that I like a lot about this chassis, one of the things that you can do here is, and some of the parts and pieces that are really nice, is they have an area here that's going to, they make different adapters for the sides and for the grips, as well as a piece that pushes your trigger finger out to square it up to the trigger. And they make them in different sizes. So if you have bigger or smaller hands, you can get a different size grip. You can get different size thumb shelves, both right and left side. And then also, again, you can get different size pieces right here to help push your finger out if it needs more or support. That way you're square to the trigger. The other thing that the Matrix offers that I really like a lot is it has a built-in bubble level that actually works really well. It's a good placement. And so you can just see it through your peripheral vision that your rifle is all leveled up. The rigidity of the chassis itself is superb. So when we're torquing the rifle, we're getting set up on target. You don't feel the barrel wiggling and moving inside the barrel channel from this flexing here and flexing the forearm against this, so they sort of flex off of each other. And so while we're pulling this way, that's resisting the other way, your bipod, and sometimes you can get a little flex. So it's super solid, super rigid. You can get different adapters on top. You can get different weights put on it throughout. And then the other thing that I can't say enough about that I like a lot, they really did a super job on both the adjustability portions back here, that it's a click and detent. And so while I'm adjusting it, I don't have screws and stuff that I'm tightening or loosening that have the potential to fall out or come unloose while I'm shooting. And so when I adjust my cheek piece up, there's a detent there that holds that in place, that keeps this from loosening up and falling back down while I'm shooting. And same thing back here. Just one knurled screw you can turn and make your adjustments. They also do a nice touch that they put a little neoprene piece on top of the cheek piece. Now that might sound silly, but I've done a lot of shooting in the cold, and I will tell you, placing your face on a cold piece of aluminum or whatever these parts and pieces can be made out of on all these different chassis and stocks sucks. I mean, if it's 10 below zero or 0 degrees outside and this is aluminum and you touch your face to it, it's cold. So they did a really nice job even thinking outside the box of just putting something on there to give your face a break. And if you're shooting a Magnum rifle, keeping that cheek slap and pinch down when a rifle comes up and hits you. The last thing I want to touch base on that I think is just an absolute home run for this chassis is a lot of times when you look under the rear of the chassis itself, and this is one area that really gets sort of lack of attention. A lot of chassis, you'll see the grips come down really far. Picture this grip down to the bottom of the table here, and then for whatever reason this will pick up in the back. And it looks aesthetically pleasing, and sometimes it looks even right, but the problem is when you go to shoot uphill, your grip comes in contact here before this gets into the bag or onto the ground. And so anytime you have your grip sticking down more or this piece riding up through, when you go to shoot uphill, your grip has a tendency to come in contact with the ground and stopping you from going any lower in the back. That's an issue. The other thing I super like a lot, and this is a home run, is how they have a little flat on the bottom and a long raceway and a place for your hand to go while you're actually using either a rear bag or bunny ears like we teach students here. When we're teaching long range shooting, we use bunny ears to sort of hold the stock in place and teach them how they're supposed to hold it without it. But when you get this in here like so, you've got breathing room under recoil before the rifle recoils and hits the back of your hand. And so when the rifle recoils, it slides back through, the bullet's out of the rifle before you have any danger of this hand bouncing or the rifle kicking up off the back of your support hand. And then also you can get that hand in there without coming in contact here. One of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to touch the stock and the rear bag at the same time. You have to do sort of one or the other. And so in this case you could pinch or hold the bag or actually hold the stock, but if you are just using the bag itself, your hand isn't influencing it in any way, you're just pinching the rear bag here. So this and a long raceway, and then this is up and out of the way so there's less chance of it bumping or catching or grabbing. So really all in all, this is probably one of my favorite chassis as far as its rigidity, its durability. I mean, I think short of running it over with a truck, there isn't much damage you can do to it. You can add weights to it if you want to make it heavier. This is not for a traditional thumb hole. This is probably more for relief cut and aesthetics. So when you look in here, it's not meant to hold like this. It's actually meant for your thumb shelf. But all in all, way to go, Masterpiece Arms. Just an absolute home run on the chassis. I really like it a lot. This is actually my personal one, hence the blue. And it's been on our line. I've let students use it at school for 2 years. And just doing that, we have had a lot of students select this chassis for their competition rifle. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to feel free to comment below or send us an email here at Wolf Precision. Our email address is contact@wolfprecision.net. But this is just a brief overview of the Masterpiece Arms Matrix chassis.